Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, and of course Arnie does too. Now, as we destroy and change all of the world's unique ecosystems, conservation becomes more and more important. As the human population increases, we displace and destroy many important habitats. This means that there is less space for wildlife, and can lead to many animal populations plummeting. This is a very common story on this channel, and it is happening all over the world to many different endangered species. But that's where conservation comes in. When animals and their habitats are protected, this gives them the ability to bounce back and lifts them from the brink of extinction. In this video I'll be going through just a few species that have survived because of conservation, as I'll be going through 5 iconic animals that were saved from extinction. And for our first species we'll be heading to Central Asia, as we have the snow leopard. Now, this big cat can be found in alpine zones, normally at elevations of around 3,000 to 4,500 meters. It can be found from eastern Afghanistan to western China, but today they are found in very small numbers. Despite being called leopards, these big cats are more closely related to tigers. They got the name of snow leopard because their markings are very similar to a leopard, but they differ from leopards in many other ways. The snow leopards tend to be a lot stockier and also have a shorter muzzle. In their snow-covered rocky homes, these snow leopards are apex predators. They tend to feed on many wild species of goat and sheep, but they also sometimes hunt wild boar and domesticated livestock. In the wild, they are often referred to as ghosts of the mountain, as they spend most of their lives in solitude and are very rarely seen. This ability to stay hidden is what helps them catch their prey, as they are one of the best ambush predators and can often get very close to their prey without them noticing. Although these big cats are majestic apex predators, they aren't safe from humans. The main threat that snow leopards are facing today is poaching. Their skins and body parts are sold on the black market, and these can demand a very high price. Between 1999 and 2002, 3 live snow leopard cubs and 16 skins were confiscated, and 330 traps were destroyed. Further investigations led to 110 poachers being arrested, and this was only in the country of Kyrgyzstan. Undercover operations in the country revealed that the illegal trade network had links with Russia and China, and this was only part of the problem. As these big cats sometimes take down livestock, many farmers choose to poison or shoot these animals, even though it's strictly illegal. There are strict protections over most of their range, with hunting leading to imprisonment in India, and it has been banned in Kyrgyzstan since the 1950s. These protections help the snow leopards' numbers bounce back, but their numbers are by no means stable. It's thought that hundreds are still killed each year in their range, and they're only thought to be around 4,000 left in the wild. As always, I've left the donation link in the description below, as these snow leopards would really benefit from your help. But for our next species, we'll be heading to North America, as we have the grizzly bear. Now, the grizzly bear is one of the most iconic North American predators, and is also one of the largest predators in the world. They can reach up to 2.75 meters when stood on their hind legs, and weigh 360 kilos on average. That's around the same weight as 3 giant pandas, and the only larger bear is of course the polar bear. These two bears are so closely related, in fact, that they can actually hybridize and create pizzly bears. These bears can occur both in the wild and in captivity, and as the world heats up, we may see more and more of them in the future. Grizzly bears can be found in a wide range of habitats, but tend to prefer woodlands and forests, as well as alpine meadows and prairies. Despite being in the order Carnivora, they are normally omnivores. They are known to feed on many of North America's large mammals, and will even devour black bears. They are famous for their fish catching ability, and these fish offer them a rich source of protein. One slightly stranger food item for these bears are army cutworm moths. They often spend large amounts of their day looking for them, and can devour in excess of 40,000 moths a day. Although these are some of the most iconic predators in North America, they now only inhabit a small part of it. At their peak, grizzly bears numbered more than 50,000 in the lower 48, and they roamed from the west coast to the Great Plains, and from northern Alaska to central Mexico. But after facing threats from habitat loss, hunting, and conflicts with people and livestock, their numbers fell to less than 1,000. This led to the grizzlies at Yellowstone being listed as endangered, and more protections were put in place to save these bears in the lower 48 states, and more education programs to help people live alongside these bears. In Yellowstone National Park in the 1970s, there were thought to only be 150 grizzlies, but today this has increased to more than 700. Their numbers have also increased elsewhere, with there thought to be around 55,000 located in the whole of North America, 30,000 of which are found in Alaska, around 25,000 being found in Canada, and less than 2,000 being found in the lower 48 states. So without the help of conservation, these bears might have been eradicated from the lower 48 states altogether. But for our next species, we'll be heading to China, as we have the giant panda. Now, the giant panda is one of the most iconic animals on this planet, and is one of the best examples of how conservation can save a species. In the wild, these bears can be found in temperate forests, usually high in the mountains of the southwest of China. In these areas, it is famously a plant eater, with 99% of its diet being made up by bamboo. Despite this, they will occasionally eat other foods, such as birds, rodents, and eggs. As bamboo isn't the most nutritious food, giant pandas can spend up to 10 to 16 hours a day feeding. This highly fibrous diet can also cause other problems, as on average pandas poo around 40 times a day. In the 1970s, as a result of farming, deforestation and other development, these giant pandas were driven out of lowland areas. Their bamboo forests were cleared, and there was less habitat left for these bears. Their survival wasn't helped by their very low birth rate, which still occurs both in the wild and in captivity. This led to there only being around 1,000 left in the wild in the 1970s, but luckily today their numbers have almost doubled in the wild. The giant panda was part of one of the most famous conservation stories, and has become a poster child of conservation itself. Through strict protection, captive breeding and reintroductions, this bear's numbers are now more stable. Despite this, they are still listed as vulnerable, and I've left another donation link in the description below, so hopefully we can learn from the panda's success story. But for our next species, we'll be heading over to Mongolia, as we have Chevalskys Horse. Now this horse is sometimes known as the Mongolian wild horse, and is a rare endangered species of wild horse, which was named after a Russian explorer. This wild horse was once found throughout Central Asia, but today most of these horses can be found in captivity, and there's a small population in Mongolia. In the wild they were often found in large grasslands, where they fed on the variety of grasses that grew there. Wolves were their main predators, but when these predators approached, the adults would often surround the foals in order to protect them. It's thought that competition with livestock, hunting, and harsh winters led to this horse's decline. The last sighting of a wild individual was in 1969, and only a few remained in captivity. Captive breeding saved these horses from extinction, and it's thought that all of these horses alive today descended from 12 individuals. As this is such a small number of animals, another significant threat to this species is loss of genetic diversity. This has led to more drastic steps being taken, as in August 2020, the first Chevalskys horse was cloned. The DNA to create this clone came from a stallion that died in 1998, as some of his cells were preserved. There are many captive populations across Europe and Asia, and unfortunately one of them lives in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. This is very bad news on the day I'm making this video, and I hope that they get out safely. So thanks to captive breeding and cloning, we still have this very unique horse. But for our next species, we'll be heading to Brazil, as we have the Sphinx macaw. Now this macaw is endemic to Brazil, and was once found in hot, dry, arid shrubland. In the wild they fed on common seeds and nuts, and various other plant species. Despite not being as colourful as other macaw species, these birds are movie stars. They inspired the 2011 film Rio, which is about two of these endangered birds falling in love. Unfortunately today this species is extinct in the wild, as after centuries of logging and deforestation, there was simply nowhere for them to survive. Invasive species also caused their numbers to decline, as rats, cats, mongooses and marmosets all fed on their eggs. There are quite a few successful captive breeding programs involving these macaws, and there could be a small population released back into the wild later on this year. So if everything goes according to plan, we should have more of these birds in the wild in the future. But that's about it for this video. If you have any other video suggestions, then let me know down in the comments below. But thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. But until next time, goodbye.